The stairs to the basement were old and neglected and looked like they had been built during amateur hour. One of the stringers, a vital structural support, had long since detached from the floor, creating a precarious gap. Each descent was punctuated by a jarring thump as the faulty steps sagged underfoot. I'd been kicking around an idea for a while, of replacing those worn-out treads with thick 2-inch fir planks. I imagined them left natural, their grain exposed, unpainted and unvarnished. A little industrial charm for a favorite space. I'd even sourced the lumber, a batch of rough-sawn fir from a supplier just across the border. The wood, however, proved to be far from ideal. It was impossibly green, still weeping sap, and riddled with knots that threatened the integrity of any future step. The project, as it stood, was stalled. So the stair project sat dormant for the next 6 months until I ran across a post on Marketplace selling old fir beams down in Concrete, Washington. I took a chance and drove an hour in the rain to meet the guy at his shop. The beams were full of nails and covered in plaster, and they weren't cheap at $95 each, but I could tell the wood was beautiful old-growth Douglas fir probably harvested from nearby forests over a century ago and used in the construction of the 1910 building that housed his wood shop. I was elated and couldn't wait to get home and see what was beneath the wood's patina. Milling the new treads was a satisfying process. The saw sliced through the fir, revealing the elegant tight grain, and filled the shop with the musty aroma of aged wood. I jointed the edges and planed the top and bottom surfaces smooth, removing just enough to leave a 2-inch thick tread. I was able to avoid most of the nail holes and filled the few that I couldn't, and then rotored a 1/4-inch radius on all the corners. I decided to leave the wood natural, just as I'd originally intended. I would apply a clear, water-based sealant to protect them from moisture and wear, but no paint or stain. The goal was to highlight the natural beauty of the wood. The real work began the following weekend. I dismantled the old treads, carefully prying them away from the stringers. The old treads were surprisingly secure, given that some of them were only fastened by a single 4-inch nail on each side. I then turned my attention to the faulty stringer. I managed to shim it and secure it to the concrete floor with heavy-duty anchors, giving it a much-needed sense of stability. Preparing the stringers and installing the treads was very methodical. The first thing I did was secure the loose carriage to both the upper floor joists and the concrete floor below. In an effort to correct the wildly inconsistent riser heights of the original stairs, I shaved and leveled the tread seats, and then dry fit the boards. Each step was carefully measured and remeasured, ensuring an even and uniform rise from tread to tread. Using the bandsaw, I quickly notched the 2 treads that nested up against the column. I then sanded and painted the stringers with a dark gray latex ironically named Cracked Pepper. I used construction adhesive to bond the treads to the stringers, then secured each tread with 4 5-inch angle brackets, one on each side of the stringer to make sure there would be no creaking or wobble when using the stairs. I can honestly say that no shims were needed in the making of these stairs. The old thump was replaced by a firm, satisfying quiet as each new tread took its place. The finishing touches were adding the handrail and the fir trim at the base of the stairwell. All in all, it came together nicely, and it feels like it will stand the test of time. The basement stairs, once a tired and shoddy remnant from generations past, now made you pause. They were solid, sturdy, and held a bit of local history, a testament to perseverance, the love of a good story, and a stroke of luck.